Hey there, I'm Adana, and I'm working on a multi-painting series, and I've been sharing the process here on YouTube. If you've missed it, check out some of my other videos where I go into more of the technical aspects of creating a painting series. And I'll have that linked in a playlist below. In those videos, I've talked about some of the more technical aspects, like what it is that I'm gonna be painting, what I'm gonna be using to paint them, why I'm even painting this. So essentially the who, what, when, where, and why. But one question that we are still left with figuring out is how. How do I know that these paintings are gonna turn out well? How do I know that I'm not gonna be just wasting paint and wasting canvases? How do I know that this isn't gonna be a waste of time? How? Essentially, how do I just let go of any lingering doubt and just get started? I'll be honest, every single time I sit down in front of a blank new canvas, I do have this feeling of doubt. It doesn't really matter how many paintings I've completed in the past, how many classes I've taken to improve my drawing skills or painting skills, or how many studies I've done to prepare myself for the subject that I'm going to be painting ahead. I always have this fear when it comes to those first few brush strokes and putting something on the canvas. It is a little bit overwhelming. But then you might be wondering, isn't that why you did all of that research, why you did all of those notes, hand, value, and color studies? Isn't that supposed to help with not having this doubt and being confident to move forward? And yeah, you're right. Those studies definitely helped us with some of the technical aspects. But there's another component to painting that is not just technical. It's also emotional and mental. So let's talk about it. In my experience, there are 5 main barriers that can keep us from starting. Let's start by addressing fear of failure. It's easy to look at the blank white canvas and feel overwhelmed by the pressure of making it perfect. You've already done the planning, the studies, and you know what you want to create. But that blank space, it can feel like an obstacle standing in the way of your vision. Remember, perfection doesn't happen in the first stroke. What you're seeing isn't a finished piece, it's a space of possibility. Even with all of the preparation that you've done, the canvas is still an open field. It's waiting for you to begin. So trust the process and remind yourself, failure isn't something to fear, it's part of the journey. Each brush stroke will bring you closer to the image that you've envisioned. And if things don't turn out exactly how you imagined, that's okay. You can adjust, you can adapt, and you can grow as you work. The first mark is often the hardest, but once you've broken the silence, let's say, of the blank canvas, you'll feel the momentum build. Even the most accomplished artists don't know exactly where their work will take them at first. They start with a small, simple action, and then let the painting unfold. So take that first step. Don't wait for the perfect moment, just make the mark. Another barrier is also lack of confidence. Even after all of your planning, it's easy to feel uncertain about your skill set or some of the choices that you've made. You might worry, what if I mess this up? What if it doesn't turn out like I thought it would? But there's something important to keep in mind. Confidence is built through action. You have to take that first step in order to build that confidence. It's not about being perfect right away. It's about trusting yourself and your preparation. You have already done the hard part. You've thought through your composition, the color palette, the overall vision. Now you just have to trust your instincts. You've made choices, and they're good choices. The more we paint, the more confident we feel. It's not about getting it perfect. It's about showing up and letting your vision come to life. The more you paint, the more you build your trust in yourself. So start with that first brushstroke. There's no wrong way to begin. But speaking of that, we also have to talk about overwhelm and anxiety. Even when you've planned out everything, staring at a large blank canvas can feel incredibly daunting, trust me. It's easy to think, where do I even begin? What if I ruin it? But here's the secret. You don't need to know exactly how the painting will turn out right now. It's better to embrace the uncertainty. There are beautiful mistakes that happen, and you don't know what they're going to be right now. The blank canvas is simply a starting point for exploration and discovery. So I would say start small. Maybe tone the canvas so that you aren't looking at just a blank white canvas. And also, don't try to complete everything at once. Depending on your medium, it may make sense to focus on adding layers gradually, like piecing together a puzzle, one step at a time. By breaking the process into smaller moments, you take the pressure off of it. Let yourself build the painting bit by bit with no need to worry about how it will look in the end. We can't talk about letting go of doubt without first addressing the fear of judgment. Even after doing the planning, there's still that fear. What if others don't like it? What if it's not good enough? What if they don't get it? You might wonder how your painting will be received, especially if you shared your studies with others or comparing your work to others and working maybe in a group show or something like that. But here's the truth. Your art is personal. Remember, you're almost always creating for an audience of one. You're creating for yourself. Your vision is unique, and so is your process. It's not about fitting someone else's expectations. The best way to combat fear of judgment is to focus inward, not outward. Yeah, the first couple paintings that you make are not going to be great, but let your work evolve naturally without worrying about external opinions. Every artist faces criticism at some point, but the most important voice is to listen to your own. So don't let the fear of others stop you from creating something meaningful for yourself. I know this one is a tough one. I constantly struggle with the fear of judgment from others, but you just gotta remember that you're creating for yourself and not necessarily for the approval of others. Another doubt that really gets me is sometimes the fear of unknown. The idea that you don't know where the painting will go next, and you don't know that you'll be able to execute your vision perfectly. Even though you've planned your composition and colors, it's easy to feel uncertain about what to do next. The truth is, the unknown is where the magic happens. The unknown is a canvas of possibility. Every brushstroke you make opens up new paths, new choices. As you move forward, the painting will begin to reveal itself. Don't be afraid of the open space. Embrace the freedom that it offers. Trust that the work will evolve just like your skills do. The beauty of the unknown is that it lets you discover new things about your style, your process, and your creativity. So now that we've talked about some of the biggest barriers to starting your painting, remember this: you have already done the hardest part. You've already made the decisions, you've already set your intentions, and now all that's left is to act. The blank canvas doesn't have to be a source of fear. It's the beginning of a beautiful journey. So I say, take that first step, trust your process, and let the painting unfold. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, the hardest part is often the first step. But once you start, you'll find that the painting will take you wherever it needs to go. Let go of your doubts and trust in your creativity. I believe in you. You got this. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this video, definitely give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I am continuing on with this series, and so I also want to shout out my newsletter and just consider signing up just if you are interested in seeing where this series takes me, as well as some of the art that I'm making throughout this series. Definitely sign up in my newsletter in the link in the description box below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!